The world has lost one of the most powerful voices ever to rise from Jamaica, a voice that carried hope, rebellion, love, and a deep spiritual heartbeat. Today, we remember the life and legacy of Jimmy Cliff. Jimmy Cliff, born James Chambers, the legendary Jamaican singer, songwriter, and actor who helped carry reggae from Kingston's streets to every corner of the globe, has died at the age of 81. His wife, Latifah Chambers, confirmed that he passed away after a seizure followed by pneumonia. He died with loved ones close, leaving behind a creative legacy that reshaped modern music. In her emotional message, Latifah wrote, "It's with profound sadness that I share that my husband, Jimmy Cliff, has crossed over due to a seizure followed by pneumonia. To all his fans around the world, please know that your support was his strength throughout his whole career. His passing marks the end of an era, but his spirit and message will continue moving through generations." Early life. Jimmy Cliff was born James Chambers on July 30th, 1944, in St. James Parish, Jamaica. He grew up in a humble rural setting, surrounded by music, community, and the spiritual teachings of his family. As a child, Cliff was the type of kid who soaked in every sound: church hymns, folk songs, and the early stirrings of ska and rocksteady drifting through Jamaica. By his teenage years, he had already begun writing music, dreaming big even when the opportunities in front of him were small. He recorded his first local hit, Hurricane Hattie, when he was still a teenager. That early success pushed him to move to Kingston, where he lived near the heart of the Jamaican music explosion, the birth of modern reggae. Cliff never forgot the lessons from his upbringing. Throughout his life, he said the values passed down from his grandmother and father, things like honesty, cleanliness, and a strong moral compass, shaped the man he eventually became. Rise to fame. Once in Kingston, Cliff's career began gaining momentum. The 1960s were a time of transformation in Jamaica, and he was right in the middle of it. He embraced ska, rocksteady, and eventually reggae, blending social messages with feel-good rhythms. His smooth yet urgent tenor made people stop and listen. His music didn't just entertain, it demanded attention. Songs like Many Rivers to Cross, You Can Get It If You Really Want, Vietnam, became international anthems. Even legends like Bob Dylan once praised Vietnam, calling it the best protest song he had ever heard. But music was only part of his story. Breakthrough in film, The Harder They Come. In 1972, Jimmy Cliff starred as Ivan Martin in the now iconic film The Harder They Come. This movie wasn't just a film, it was a cultural moment. Cliff's performance introduced global audiences to the struggles and dreams of ordinary Jamaicans. The soundtrack, heavily built around Cliff's own songs, helped carry reggae into the world mainstream. It's often credited as one of the single most important moments in reggae history. For many people outside Jamaica, The Harder They Come was the very first time they truly heard reggae. Cliff became not just a musician, but an international symbol of resistance, ambition, and spiritual yearning. Career highlights. Across more than 30 albums, Jimmy Cliff built one of the most influential catalogs in world music. Some major achievements include 2 Grammy Awards for Cliffhanger, 1985, and Rebirth, 2012. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, 2010. Jamaica's Order of Merit, one of the nation's highest honors. Collaborations with global icons including the Rolling Stones, Paul Simon, and Annie Lennox. A reputation as one of the few artists who bridged ska, rocksteady, reggae, and world music. Even in his later years, Cliff stayed active, releasing humanitarian-focused music, performing at festivals, and supporting creative projects that uplifted new generations. He truly lived as an artist until the end. Personal life, the family man. Although Jimmy Cliff was a global superstar, he consistently said that family came first. On his official biography, he's described simply as a family man. Cliff and his wife, Latifah Chambers, built a multicultural household, Moroccan, French, and Jamaican influences all blending into one. He often said that love, not geography, was the core of who they were. His children. Jimmy Cliff was a proud father to Lilty Cliff, a talented singer who collaborated with him in the studio. Aiken Cliff, a gifted drummer. B. Beatrice, an actress and singer born from his relationship with Brazilian psychologist Sonia Gomez. B., who appeared in Black Panther and Daisy Jones and the Six, once said she grew up on a tour bus, traveling everywhere with her famous father. Cliff frequently shared special moments with his children, attending a documentary screening with Lilty in 2019, celebrating the naming of Jimmy Cliff Boulevard in Jamaica alongside Lil T and Aiken. Recording music together, including the 2022 track Racism, where Lil T joined him in the studio. He proudly shared that his children were very talented, and joked that they grew up absorbing music the way he once had in his childhood village. Beyond music, Cliff passed on personal values. "Don't lie, don't cheat, know the path of right and wrong," he once said. He was spiritual but not tied to organized religion, wanting instead to guide his children through conversation and example. Final days. In the final years of his life, Cliff continued to work, create, and uplift others. His music remained filled with purpose, whether he sang about love, justice, or humanity. There were no widely reported final words, but his wife's heartfelt statement reveals the quiet strength and peace that surrounded him at the end. His last messages to fans came through performances, music, and the gentle wisdom he shared about life, identity, and staying true to one's purpose. Following the announcement of his passing, tributes poured in from across the globe. Musicians, actors, Jamaican leaders, cultural organizations, and lifelong fans. Jimmy Cliff wasn't just a musician. He was a bridge between cultures, a global ambassador for Jamaican music, a storyteller of struggle and triumph, a voice of hope that crossed continents. His songs were used in protests, played at weddings, sung at funerals, and used to fuel personal journeys. They were simple enough to hum, yet powerful enough to move nations. Few artists achieve that kind of magic. As we say goodbye to Jimmy Cliff, we honor the force of his voice, the courage of his storytelling, and the joy he brought into millions of lives. His music may have started in a small parish in Jamaica, but today it belongs to the world, and it will continue to echo for generations to come. Rest in peace, Jimmy Cliff. Your rivers have crossed, and your song lives on.